If this is your understanding of your brain and understanding why we, if you go back to the teaching, we explain why you have the split brain due to the copper compounds in our body. Physicality has forced the brain to split. Physicality and the field forces of the planet has forced the brain. If was not so, if we didn't have the physicality of the copper and the gravitational field forces of the planet, most probably, the brain of the man would have been this shape in respect to the soul of the man. The gravity has pulled and has created the physical condition. And in that pull and in the condition of physicality, with the existence of the copper has created the split. So it has, we taught this years ago in the teaching. So our soul would have been in this shape. Our soul would have been the center, would have been the sun, the same way. You'll find out, especially as we travel into space, the physical appearance of the entities which are far away from central gravities is without arms and legs. They take any shape because it depends what field brings them. This is one of the first things you see, life like a jelly shape. And the minute you enforce a gravitational field on it, it has to take shape and respect it. Even though it has its own soul. It's us in the position of the gravitational field of the earth that we have created the body of the man. And the presence of being able to handle the position of the physicality, not to fall. You can be, imagine if you were just one leg, you could not hop, you were just like a tree. In a condition of creating a balance in 2 legs or 4 legs, whatever you call it, it needed copper to be part of it. That's why copper is part of our muscle tissue. It creates that division of the split of balance. So if we take the copper away, and we take the gravitational field forces of the body of the man, a man could create in the space, in the direction, and in the shape of the womb of the mother. If you look, the fetus stays like this. Because it's a dynamic shape, it's centralized. And the same is with the soul of the man, like a sun. So this position and this understanding will open man's eyes into a lot of new knowledge into space. It'll become a more balanced thinking. It's a more balanced emotional reaction. You'll find out in depth of the space, the races which can convert and commute between the two in a dimension of non-physicality always will be like this. They can interchange, show themselves and disappear. Depends what is the purpose of it. But you still feel their forces. In the coming time, mankind will go this way. It's what the fields of the environment dictates our manifestation, presentation, even our condition and our emotion. We see this, we know this. This is what has made us different cultures, but we never looked at it. As we hear, Lynn has a deep, deep understanding of Chinese culture. I know her, I spent 2 years with her in China. And she's very much deep into understanding of nature of China, nature of her own nation, the reasons why. And going deep into philosophy of understanding, she's more attuned into emotion. The Chinese have that kind of mentality, that the emotion has more, and mainly is not what the environment has done and what they call it, the environment has done to them, is mainly because of the environment and what they have been forced to, what they're accustomed to. And we see Lin on the other side, very much emotionally, very much connected to what the souls will do. When you look at Ella, Ella comes from the West. She's very much connected to the matter states. Logical has to have a meaning in the physical dimension. And if you look at it, we already see that position of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. It's very clear. And if you understand this, the more we become detached from it, and the more where we live in a condition of environment and in a condition of the way we have been brought up, we have featured ourselves that way. Our environment, be it social, be it geographical, has created us. And we are not immune from it when we go into the depth of the space. This is why these two souls will work in absolute harmony. When one lives in the dimension of physicality, the other one covers the soul, dimension of emotion, dimension of the energies of the universe, and vice versa. And they will learn from each other. In the dimension of the soul is no school to go to. You don't need to talk. And this is what you will understand very soon. Mankind will have one of the very biggest shocks is when mankind learns to travel and be detached or move away from the physicality push and the pulls of this planet. It won't be in a spacesuit anymore that you can do all sorts of things with it. It will be in the shape of what I am. We have a beautiful saying Farsi, if you translate it uh, into the poetry of the language. It says, "Gar khahi nashavi raswa, ham rang jamaat sho." It means if you don't want to stand out, become part of the crowd. If you want to survive in the space, you have to understand the place, the position, and the culture, and the environmental pressures, environmental energies. I think one of the biggest shock which will come to mankind, a lot of you, and I mean a lot of you are going to have a shock with this, is, you see,